Hi, I'm Kaz. Welcome to Sew Focus on Tour. Today I'd like to show you how to cut out vinyl with your Scan and Cut, and this is what I'll be making today. This is the vinyl blade, so this is an optional extra for the Scan and Cut machine. And I'll pop the blade in and then just lock it down. I'm just going to close the front of the Scan and Cut while I prepare my mat. So for using the vinyl, I'm just using my low tack adhesive mat. And I'm using Oracle vinyl, but you can use any vinyl. And just laying the vinyl onto the mat. And I need to make sure that it stays within the area of the mat. And just smooth that out so it's not going to come unstuck. And I bring the Scan and Cut forward again now. You can see that at the top here I haven't cut the vinyl very straight, so I'm going to pop my mat in the machine and we'll just press the load button. I'm going to go into my settings and I'm going to choose half cut and turn that on. I'm using a design that is on my USB, so I need to go to retrieve data and then choose the USB option. And my USB is just in the side of the machine. This is the design I'd like to cut. Press OK. And then I will push the scan button and press start. And then I'm going to rotate my design. I choose rotate and I'm rotating it 90 degrees to the left and OK, and I'm just going to move that aside. Right, so I want to make sure that my design is in the area that I've scanned, so you can see the vinyl isn't up in that top left corner. So I'll just make sure that my design doesn't overlap that area. Next I'm going to add a rectangle, so press Add, Pattern, Shapes. I'm going to choose the rectangle and adjust the size slightly, and you'll notice that the size is actually changing proportionally. Height and width are both changing. and then I'm going to press set and move my rectangle up over top of my first design. Then I'll press edit and object edit and size adjustment, and now I'm going to press this button which will unlock the proportional size change, and it will allow me to change the width and the height separately. So first I'm going to adjust the height, and I'm going to adjust the width. So I want my design to fit inside the rectangle. And I'll just adjust the height again just a little bit. So by doing this, it means that this area of vinyl here that I'm not cutting today can still be used, because my shape around gives me an outline to be able to peel my design out of. Press OK, press OK, and press OK, and OK again. I'm going to select cut. Right, and on this screen it actually shows me that my half cut is on. Now the reason I choose half cut is so that it cuts through the vinyl and doesn't cut through the backing. Press start. So my design is cutting out, is cutting all the detail of the design. And by using the vinyl blade, it has a finer point on it, so it can cut a lot finer details with the vinyl. If it's a fairly simple design, just your standard blade will work fine. If it's got a little bit more detail, then the vinyl blade will give a better result. Okay, my design's finished cutting, so I'm now going to remove the vinyl around the outside of my design, and as I do that I just snip off the excess pieces. And that prevents the vinyl from sticking back on itself, because that can happen very, very easily. So if you just snip away those excess pieces and pop them aside. And continue to do that very carefully, making sure that you don't peel off any portion of the design that you need to keep. So it's very, very easy to lose a letter as you're peeling off the excess vinyl. So this is called weeding. Okay, so you can see that I've taken the main area around my design out, and this is the rectangle that I had added around the design, which allows me now to be able to use this next time. And in my design I've got little sections that need to come out, so I like to use a quilting pin, or any kind of pin will work, but I prefer the quilting pin because the quilting pins are longer and they've got a sharp point on them. Okay, so just use the pin to lift out the section that you want to remove, making sure you're not grabbing a section that you want to stay. So I've got all the words done now, so now there's just a little bit of detail in the shoe and the scissors. And just carefully lifting out that detail. And almost done. Now just turning it around to pick up the different angles of the light, which allows me to see where the little cut marks are. Okay, so that's completely done now. So now I just need to put some transfer tape over that. There's a few different types of transfer sheet that you get. This one I bought off Amazon, and it's got grids on it which helps you line it up when you put it onto the surface. So what I've done is I've cut myself a piece that is the same size as my design and fits inside the rectangle. So just peel that back. And I just peel back the top section of the transfer sheet and then stick that into position above the design, and just making sure that it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to grab the backing section and slide that off, and as I do that I'm going to stick it onto my design. Okay, and just rub your hand over the design to make sure it's stuck firmly. And then carefully peel that away, and it'll lift the design away with the transfer sheet. Right. Now if it doesn't completely lift up, then it means that the transfer sheet isn't stuck to the vinyl. So you can see just there that bit's not stuck. So I'm just going to lay that back down and just give that another rub. And then pull that up. Okay, so now we've got our design on our transfer sheet, and I'm just temporarily going to stick it back onto the backing piece until I'm ready to pop that on the wall. Okay, I need to clean the surface where I'm going to place the sticker. using some isopropyl, which is pure alcohol, and a lint-free cloth. And the lint-free cloth that I'm using is actually an N cleaning cloth, which is lint-free. Okay, then to position the design, I'm going to fold just back the top section and put it into position and give that a rub, and then carefully pull that down and rub that over so it's going to stick to the surface. And then I peel back the transfer sheet, and if you pull it down vertically, it will keep the sticker stuck to the surface. If you pull it away from the surface, it'll actually pull the sticker off. Right, so slide that down, and this is actually reusable. And now we're done. And that is done. The next process that we need to go through is actually removing the outside of the vinyl. Okay, so I've removed all the outside parts, so now I need to remove all of the little bits that are in the centers, lifting them carefully. Okay, so that's completely weeded now, and we're going to remove this now from the mat. And because we had half cut selected, you'll notice that the back of the paper has no cuts in it at all. So that allows us to be able to lift that design off now and place it onto the board. So I'm just going to place that flat, and I've got my transfer sheet here, and then stick that onto my design. And then I just use a ruler, and as I peel back the paper, I slide that ruler along the transfer sheet, so that it sticks firmly onto the vinyl. And just give that a rub over to make sure that the vinyl's stuck nice and firmly, and make sure there's no air bubbles in it. And then carefully pull the transfer sheet back and remove the vinyl from the backing. And then I like to place my transfer sheet back onto the transfer backing to place it onto the board. So just carefully place that down. And I'll get my board. And this board is just a wooden cutting board that I got from Big W, and they're about $8 from Big W, but you could use any cutting board. And just working out where the center of the board is. I'm just eyeballing that, which is probably not ideal. We probably should measure it. I'll peel that back, and I'm just going to fold back the edge like I did before, and then position my transfer sheet on the board. And again, I'm just going to peel that backing paper off, and using my ruler I'll slide that along to make sure that my transfer sheet is sitting flat. And now we need to remove the transfer sheet, so just make sure that's on nice and flat. Give it a rub, and then pull the transfer sheet down and keep it vertical to the surface so that you don't pull off the design. So if you pull the transfer sheet outwards, you may pull the vinyl off the backing. So we just need to pull that down carefully and keeping it vertical. And slide that off.